This project is in the most remote location that OLY has been to date, to a station only 30 kilometres from the Northern Territory border.
The distance factor on these things is always an issue. This one in particular, because it was 2,300 k's.
In the case of the Savannah project, the only way that it really could be feasibly done is by building it in a factory and taking it to site.
The basis of how we work here is a little different than doing on-site building. So we have a factory, so the chassis will get made, and at the same time as the chassis is being made, the walls are being made. Our chassis are probably one of the strongest chassis in the transportable building industry in Queensland.
Then once they finish the chassis, then it comes out here and the boys set it up. From then, all the frames are pre-made. And the other team will come and stand the frames, get it ready for the roof. We'll put the roof on. That's when all the other sub-trades come in, the plumbers, the sparkies, jib rockers and the painters.
To ensure that our process is absolutely seamless, we build the house to completion here in our yard. That includes right down to the floor coverings, light fittings, electrical testing. Every single part of that house has to be built here on site. Then we break the house back down into the designed pieces to be able to transport, and we know that if it's been built as a whole, when it's due to be reassembled, it is going to go back together exactly the way that it should.
Once we're pulling it apart, the plastic's already been pre-cut and set to be wrapped up and dropped down from the top. Screwing it at the top and bottom, making sure it's taut so when it's driving up the highway it's not going to blow apart.
We then use crane to lift the separate pieces onto the truck at this end, and then to have it lifted down onto the stumps that have already been installed at the location. So the two main pieces are in excess of 18.5 metres long, and there are 3 pieces then. That takes 3 semi-trailers, accompanied of course by 3 vehicle pilots.
The process of moving homes all over the country can be quite a challenge at times, especially up Cape York and places like that where we've got to cross rivers, and getting houses across rivers can be a challenge at times because you've only got one chance and there's no one else there to help you. One of the biggest challenges with a long trip, a lot of it is the logistical homework before you leave. You don't encounter all the issues, but you cover as many as you can before you leave. That is a big part of it. Getting your people right, escorts right, the load right and the truck right.
The challenge in this particular job is, first of all, the distance. It's about 2,500 or 2,330 kilometres away from here. We've got those 3 semi-trailers travelling for 3 days to even arrive at the destination. Our drivers are careful, they take the most direct route, and of course they avoid as much as they can jolting the house around.
Getting into the particular property, the people told us it was bitumen to the front gate, but they forgot to tell us that the driveway was 42 kilometres long and it wasn't bitumen. They said we got creeks, we got crossings. It's just another one of those challenges. The unknown is the hard part. Station manager told us to be very aware that it was very wet underneath the road, which was hard to believe because it looked so dry on top, until we actually saw a hole in the road where a Land Cruiser had gone into and just broken the top of it. And when we get there, with the house especially, and get the thing into place, you feel like you conquered it. And the pressure's off. You think, well, we've pulled it off, we're here. And that was a good feeling. We slept well that night.
We have an install team, an install crew that we sent up. They do all the installs. And that starts from down here where they load the truck up. We've got to prepare for a month's being away.
When you're working in 45-degree plus heat, it becomes a bigger challenge. You can't work 10 hours a day like the guys do down here when they're on site, because you physically can't do it.
These are very expensive operations as far as hiring cranes and having people wait around. So it's imperative that the whole exercise is very carefully planned and that we mitigate any risks.
In the case of the Savannah project, we've got a significant weather pattern in Australia called the wet season. And obviously when we're a long way away, we need to make sure that we can get the house installed and done and get out before the wet season. Large cranes put it in place within a couple of days. The house is finished as far as the structure is concerned. There's a lot of logistics in behind it, but the client doesn't need to worry about that. The logistics side of our business and the project management side of our business is one of our key strengths. And it's borne out by the fact that we got this large 300+ square metre home installed in very difficult circumstances. They put everything together on schedule, on time, on budget, and they got the job done.
The project has been a tremendous success. The home has exceeded all of their expectations. They couldn't express just how thrilled they were with the whole process and of course with the result. OLY Homes provide building solutions all across Queensland. Whether it's big or small, near or far, this is what we do.